Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanitam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna. So we'll chant the Jai Radha Madhava prayers. So you can all follow on the screen. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Everybody can repeat. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jayo Krishna Balaram, Jayo Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jayo Krishna Balaram. Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai. Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Ananta Dev, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Ananta Dev. Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Ananta Dev ki, Jai Shri Srinivas Govinda ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So today we'll be discussing from the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the first verse. So this chapter is, the name is Transcendental Knowledge. So before we begin, please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verse is displayed over there. So we'll all, I will read the verse and you can all recite after me. So please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ivam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivashvan Manavapraha Manu Ikshvakave Bravit. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivashvan Manavipraha Manu Ikshvakave Bravit. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktaman Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manavipraha Manu Ikshvakave Bravit. So you can repeat the word-to-word meanings with me. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Imam, this, Vivasvate, unto the Sun God, Yogam, the science of one's relationship to the Supreme, Proktavan, instructed, Aham, I, Avyayam, imperishable, Vivaswan, Vivaswan, the Sun God's name, Manave, unto the Father of mankind, of the name Vaivasvata. Praha, told. Manuhu, the father of mankind. Ikshvakave, unto King Ikshvaku. Abravit, said. So I'll read the translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan. And Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. So please repeat the translation. The Blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivaswan. And Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. So I'll read the purport. Herein we find the history of the Bhagavad Gita traced from a remote time when it was delivered to the royal order, the kings of all planets. This science is especially meant for the protection of the inhabitants, and therefore the royal order should understand it in order to be able to rule the citizens and protect them from the material bondage to lust. Human life is meant for cultivation of spiritual knowledge in eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the executive heads of all the states and all planets are obliged to impart this lesson to the citizens by education, culture, and devotion. In other words, the executive heads of all states are intended to spread the science of Krishna consciousness so that the people may take advantage of this great science and pursue a successful path, utilizing the opportunity of the human form of life. In this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivaswan, the king of the sun, which is the origin of all planets within the solar system. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Yachakshuresa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurtir Asesa Tejaha Yasyagnaya Brahmati Samrata Kala Chakro Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Let me worship, Lord Brahma said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and traverses its orbit in obedience to his order. The sun is the king of the planets, and the sun god, at present of the name Vivaswan, rules the sun planet, which is controlling all other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna, and Lord Krishna originally made Vivaswan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is not therefore a speculative treatise for the insignificant mundane scholar, but is a standard book of knowledge coming down from time immemorial. In the Mahabharata Shanti Parva 348.51-52, we can trace out the history of the Gita as follows. Treta Yugadau cha tato Vivaswan manave dadau manuscha lokabriti artham sutayekshvaksve dadau ikshvakuna cha katito vyapya lokan avastitaha. In the beginning of the Treta Yuga millennium, this science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivaswan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet and forefather of the Raghu dynasty, in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita existed in the human society from the time of Maharaja Ikshvaku. At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, which lasts 432,000 years. Before this, there was Dwapar Yuga, 800,000 years. And before that, there was Treta Yuga, 1,200,000 years. Thus, some 2,005,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son, Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. The age of the current Manu is calculated to last some 305,300,000 years, of which 120,400,000 have passed. accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan. A rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120,400,000 years ago. And in human society, it has been extant for 2 million years. It was re-spoken by the Lord again to Arjuna about 5,000 years ago. That is the rough estimate of the history of Gita, according to the Gita itself and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Sri Krishna. It was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he is also a Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriyas who are descendants of the sun god or the Surya Vamsha Kshatriyas. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this knowledge is apaurasheya, superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without human interpretation, the Gita must therefore be accepted without mundane interpretation. The mundane wranglers may speculate on the Gita in their own ways, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is from the disciplic succession, and it is described herein that the Lord spoke to the sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. The sense of purport. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakya Chakshuryunmilitanyena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So thank you all for joining. So today we are started a new chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, and as you all know, we read some of the prominent verses of Bhagavad Gita, every Sunday. So far we have covered 3 chapters, again the prominent verses, and the third chapter. Anybody remembers the name of the third chapter? Karma Yoga, yes. So we have completed the Karma Yoga, and now today we are starting this new chapter, 4th chapter. This chapter name is known as Transcendental Knowledge. So knowledge that transcends the regular understanding, the regular material knowledge, right? So that's why it's known as Transcendental Knowledge. And Krishna, this chapter is very unique because Lord Krishna, in the previous chapter, Karma Yoga, Krishna was instructing Arjuna how to do your duty, right? Without expecting results, and do it as a yajna, as an offering to the Lord, and be conscious of the Lord and not be attached to the results. And without doing your duty, you won't even be able to maintain yourself. And then he says, if you do it as an offering to the Lord in a Krishna conscious way, you will be freed from all reactions, or else you will be bound by the reactions of your activities, right? And a very classic example that Prabhupada gives and we talk about is how a soldier, when he works on behalf of his country, he doesn't have to face any reactions of any damage he causes to the other country, right? So why? Because he is acting on behalf of the country, and the country takes care of everything. But if he acts on his own independently, he becomes responsible for his actions, right? In the same way, the Karma Yoga, if you act on behalf of Krishna, if you act to satisfy Krishna, if you act to please Krishna, then you are not bound by the consequences. Like a very classic example, we all eat food at least 2 times, 3 times a day. And Krishna says, Yagna sista asino santo muchante sarva kilbishai. If you offer your food to me, first as an offering, and then you take as a prasada, yagna sista. Sista means, remnants of yagna. When you do an offering, yagna means actually sacrifice. Even if you're cooking something and offering to the Lord, that is also yagna, you're offering, right? Any yagna also, there are offerings that are going on. So Krishna says, just like how to do the work, we are talking about, if you do it as an offering to me, if you first offer it to me and then you take prasadam, all the sinful reactions involved in it will be taken away. You will be freed from all reactions. But then if he also says, Bhunjate tetva agam papam e pachanti atmakaranat. Then he says the opposite also. He says, if you offer to me, there are no sinful reactions. But then he says, Bhunjate tetva agam papam, one who, eats for his own sense gratification without caring to the offer to the Lord, e pachanti atmakaranat, he says, bunjate te to agam papam. Papam means sinful. Bunjate, he's actually eating lot of sinful reactions. E pachanti atmakaranat, one who prepares just for himself without offering. See, it is so important to offer food to the Lord. And that's why in temple here, we have prasadam. Though it is a full meal, but what is prasadam? You'll see here after some time the pujari actually offering is already done. If you would have come at 12, you would see the curtain was closed. What was the pujari doing? He was offering the food. The same rice, dal, sabji offered to the Lord, it becomes yagna sista, it becomes prasadam. Then when we take prasadam, there is no sinful reaction involved at all. One might think, what is sin in eating? We are anyway vegetarians, right? We eat vegetarian food. Well, vegetarian food also has life. Every grain, there is life, right? If you don't cook it, if you just put it in the soil and put water, what will happen? They will all sprout. So there is life. And so the way this world is designed is that jiva jivasya jivanam. One cannot subsist. Even if you are a vegetarian, without taking another life, your life cannot sustain. Even if you take fruits, there are seeds in it. Even if you take vegetables, grains, everything has life in it. Everything wants to grow. But for your own sustenance, you are forced to commit the act of ending others' life. And unfortunately, that results in sinful reaction. So Krishna is trying to make us immune. So, and that is why he is speaking this Bhagavad Gita. He is actually helping us how to lead our life. Right? People say, oh, with Bhagavad Gita is the principles of life, how we can lead our life. Now, these are the principles, very essential principle. So Krishna goes on speaking about different principles, and the essence of Karma Yoga, just summarize, is when we do activities as a sacrifice, as a service to the Lord, then we are immune to the reactions, and when you're immune to the reactions, you're on the path to liberation, because there is no more bondage. What is the opposite of bondage? Liberation. That's why Krishna says, Yagnartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Yagnartha karmano anyatra. Your karma, not just eating. Every activity should be done as a yagna. So that is the real secret of living the life. People say Bhagavad Gita is a manual of how to live the life. This is what the manual is talking about. How to live the life in such a way that you are not getting implicated at every moment. Right? So just like if you work at a particular company, if you're using all the resources in the organization for the purpose of the company, the printers and the network and the computers, everything, you are not implicated, right? But let's say somebody stays back and then he sits after 5 p.m. and using all the office resources for his personal work. He's doing his taxes, he's printing some documents, he's doing this and that. Some security, somebody will observe and they'll call him. No, this is not right. You're supposed to use the company equipment for the purpose of company. Once you start using for your own self, you're actually violating the principles of this organization, and he'll be implicated. He might even lose his job, right? In the same way, this world, if you see, the total organization, everything belongs to Krishna. And we are all children of Krishna. And we are supposed to serve him and work under him. Not that, we are not supposed to take anything for ourselves. We are supposed to take, but as a remnants, as a mercy, as the prasadam of the Lord. So that's why he said, Yagnartha karmano anyatra. All the work that you do should be done as yagna. So our real homework, our real, work, our real to-do, our task is, how do I do whatever I am doing as a service to Krishna, as an offering to Krishna, as a sacrifice to Krishna. And that is the science of Krishna consciousness. And that is what we learn by studying the complete Bhagavad Gita, by the mercy of the spiritual master, Swami Prabhupada. We will learn to understand how every moment of my life can be done as a service to Krishna, in a Krishna conscious way. That is why this whole process is known as Krishna consciousness, right? If you are Krishna conscious and you are doing your act in a Krishna conscious way, you are not implicated. So that is the summarization of Karma Yoga. Now this chapter, Transcendental Knowledge, what is special about this chapter? Here, Krishna is revealing about himself. As we go through the multiple verses, this is literally God explaining God, this chapter. Krishna himself is telling about his own appearance, when he appears, how he appears, what are the kind of activities he does when he appears, and how he treats, the devotees and the non-devotees, and how, by applying this knowledge, one becomes free from bondage. Again, the whole purpose of human life is to become free from bondage. We all talk about many times, the 4 phases mentioned in the Vedic literature: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? Moksha, Mukti. We are all born in the Vedic civilization, so at least we heard the word Mukti, Moksha. Unfortunately, many people don't even know there is such a concept, right? So, becoming free from the bondage of the repetition of birth, death, old age, disease. That is the aim of human life, and that is what this Vedic knowledge is all about, right? So here, transcendental knowledge is very interesting. This verse is actually Krishna is giving some historical background of his message that he is speaking to Arjuna. Because Arjuna was totally baffled in the battlefield, isn't it? He was totally lost. And initially there was arguments going on. Arjuna was saying, oh Krishna, how I can kill my grandfather, Bhishma, how I can kill my uncle. Then Krishna is saying, what is this Arjuna? You're a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. Why are you talking like this? This doesn't make sense. And then he goes on, Arjuna says, but how can I kill my own people? He says, oh Madhusudana. He's saying, Madhu is the name of a demon. So he's addressing Krishna saying, Krishna, you killed a demon. So, but me, you're wanting me to kill my own family members. What is this, right? So, but then Arjuna knew that something is wrong. His thinking is wrong. So finally he surrenders to Krishna. Shishyasteham swabhiman tvam prapannam. He says, okay, Shishyasteham, I become your Shishya. No more friends. Otherwise they're cousins, right? So Krishna is Arjuna's mother's brother's son, right? Arjuna's mother is Kunti Devi, Kunti's brother is Vasudeva, and Krishna happens to be the son of Vasudeva, right? He's a cousin brother. So that's why there was a casual discussion. But then finally, all said and done, everyone who had some sense during those time, they knew Krishna is not just a normal person, he was the supreme personality of Godhead. Why? Lot of leelas he had performed. Very famous leela. Krishna lifted a great hill. What is that hill known as? Govardhan Hill. And right now the Govardhan Hill, the diameter is around 22 kilometers. So imagine, and that too on a tip of a finger. If I give at least a 2 pounds or 5 pound stone, if you put on finger, what happens? Immediately we'll have to call 911, right? Something will happen. So it is known, anybody who had little sense knew Krishna is not an ordinary person. He's the Supreme Lord. Even Kunti Devi offers prayers, glorifying him as a Lord. So the Pandavas, Arjuna, they all knew. Actually, Arjuna deep down knew Krishna is the Supreme Lord himself. But there is the familial, the cousin relationship also, the friendly relationship. Sometimes you tend to forget that out of that loving relationship. So when Arjuna was totally baffled, he finally surrendered to Krishna. Okay, I become your disciple. And then Krishna started speaking. Now this knowledge, Krishna is about to reveal about his appearance and his activities and how various people, by taking advantage of this knowledge that he is going to reveal, have attained liberation. So before he speaks, Krishna is giving some historical background. What is he saying? He says, Evam Vivasvate Yogam. Actually this knowledge, this yoga, this is the knowledge of re-establishing our connection with Krishna. What is this all yoga all about? What is all our situation? We are all in forgetfulness of Krishna. Unless we read Bhagavad Gita, unless we come across a spiritual master like Swami Prabhupada, we didn't even knew that, we have an eternal father who is Krishna. We only know about our temporary current relationships. But we know the temporary relationships are temporary, right? We have the father, mother, all relationships, they all end at one point of time. But the soul has a continuous life. That is why when a person dies, what do we say? Dehant. Tata dehantara prapti. Only the deha has become anta, only the body has left, but the soul is there. And we do this pujas, isn't it, for the forefathers, Pitrupaksha and all. We do prayers for our forefathers and all. Why do we do? Because we know they're existing. They have left this body, but they're existing somewhere. And whatever today we have is because of whatever the family lineage. Let us offer something to them. So the soul is always existing, but the body is temporary. Now we are in ignorance. This knowledge we don't have. So unless Krishna reveals it, unless through the Vedic knowledge it is revealed, we are in complete forgetfulness. We have even forgotten. Krishna says, Aham bija pratapitaha sarva yonishu kaunteya. All the species, right? Sarva yonishu kaunteya murteha sambhavanti tasham brahma mahat yoni aham bija pratapitaha. Of all the species, I am the seed-giving father. Now, because if you think, okay, the soul is leaving the body, is taking another body, and again takes another body, dehant, then where is the origin of the soul? Where is the soul coming from in the first place? That Krishna is revealing, that aham bija pratapitaha, I am the seed-giving father, right? So Krishna is our father and we are in forgetfulness. So Krishna is revealing this knowledge. And now to Arjuna is saying, not just now I am telling to you, Arjuna, this knowledge is actually very important. I have told it to the sun god many, many years ago. And he's saying, Evam Vishvate Yogam Proktaman Aham Avyayam. Avyayam means imperishable knowledge. See, this knowledge is, that is why our the principles of life we follow, this dharma is actually not like a Hindu dharma or something. Hindu is a word coined later. It is known as Sanatana Dharma. What does the meaning of Sanatana mean? Sanatana means continuous, eternal. Yeah, there is no beginning. Actually, it is eternal religion. That's why you can trace it all the way to the beginning of time, beginning of creation, beginning of existence. So that's why Krishna is saying, I first spoke this to Vivaswan. And who was Vivaswan? He is the sun god, the sun planet, the king of all planets. And all other planets are actually subordinate to the sun planet. Even the modern astronomical things, they say all the planets actually, they're part of sun, isn't it? They say even the earth and different, when the sun, when things got into revolution, different pieces of the sun came out, and earth and everything, they say they're pieces of sun actually. That is why if you go down to crust of this earth, you still find molten lava and it's all red hot. It's all part of sun, they say. So even though, physically the organization and even as per the Vedic literature, it is mentioned that the sun god is the king of all the planets. And being the king of the planet, he was the original person, so he had to be instructed. And then it is said, this knowledge, very important thing to see here is, it is coming in disciplic succession. This is not invention. This is not coming out of a research paper out of MIT or Harvard University. This is coming from Krishna himself. Because this knowledge of Krishna, like it is said, it is apaurasheya. It is beyond material conception. What is beyond material conception? Krishna's another name is also known as Adokshaja. Akshaja means our eyes, our senses. Adokshaja, it is beyond the perception of our eyes. That is why, more than 2,000 years of modern historical science, could anyone figure out who is God? Where is he living? What is his name? What is his Prabhupada says? In Vedic literature, we have everything. We have his father's name, mother's name, date of birth, place, address, GPS location, everything we have. We can give all details. But are the modern scientists able to do? They cannot, because God, Krishna is transcendental. He is not anything of this material. You can't perceive God by your material senses. Atah Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai. The Krishna's nama adi, name and other features, na bhaved, you cannot get by grahyam indriyai. Through your indriya senses, you cannot capture Krishna. You cannot understand Krishna. Sevan mukehi jivadau swayameva spuratyada. By sevan mukha, by doing service to the Lord, starting with jiva. Jiva means tongue. Jivadau, that is why we chant Hare Krishna and we eat prasadam. What happens? Sevan mukhe, when you do service to the Lord through your tongue, through your mouth, what happens? Swayameva spuratyada. The Lord will reveal himself to you. So the Lord is not, some material thing where, I have a very powerful James Webb Space Telescope or something, you put it and you see. It is not material. Even if it can see, millions of light years away, you cannot find God, because God is not material. He is completely spiritual. Satchit Ananda. It is a completely spiritual substance, not made of the 108 or 16 elements in the periodic table we learned in our science school. None of these elements, right? So that is why Lord himself has to reveal himself to understand, about God. So that is why God is revealing, and this knowledge is to be received in disciplic succession. Nobody can do invention, nobody can do research. Suddenly, the one big university, they can get a fund of some $20 million and we'll start a research project. We will use all modern equipment and all technology that we have. Let's figure out about God. No, they cannot, because God is not capable. You cannot capture God with your material, senses and objects. So that is how God is revealing himself, and he's saying how he's revealing, starting from the sun god. Then sun god explained it to his son, Manu. It's very interesting, the word Manu is known as father of mankind. And even in English, the word man, right? Man, Manu. So a lot of Sanskrit words you can see, that the origin is from the Sanskrit, the Vedic literature. Even the word mother, right? Mother, matru, right? In the Sanskrit. So like this, you will find so many references. So interesting to see. The father of mankind is known as Manu. And actually the law that guides the human society, it is known as Manu Samhita. Right? Now every state, every country comes up with their own kind of law. But originally there was one law book that is called as Manu Samhita. And in Manu Samhita, different kinds of laws are given. What is to be done, what is not to be done. Like, this thing like when somebody commits a murder, he should be hanged immediately. This is originally there in the Manu Samhita. Why? Because he will be freed from the reaction of that life, and or else he will have to suffer so much. But nowadays, people out of compassion, this and that, let's not hang this person, they say. What will happen? Next life, he will have to suffer. He will have to get killed again. Because like a tit for tat, law of karma is there. What you do, as you sow, shall you reap. So that's why as per Manu Samhita, it's like, okay, better kill him this life itself, let him suffer. He has done a mistake. This life only. At least next life, he can, restart, continue. But now they say, oh, no death sentence, don't let him live. So he will live at the very pitiable situation in jail. But what happens next life? He takes birth, he will get killed again. He will get murdered by somebody, because that is the law of karma. So this Manu Samhita has all these laws, and the father of mankind is Manu, is known as father of mankind. And then he in turn spoke to Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is the forefather of the Raghuvamsa dynasty. Ikshvaku Kula we say, right? Lord Rama comes from. And this is all known as the Surya Vamsha, the Kshatriyas. Now, a very interesting point here is, Prabhupada is saying, here the history of Bhagavad Gita, see this transcendental knowledge, this Vedic knowledge, the spiritual science subject, generally we think it is for saintly people who are rishis, munis, taken sannyasa, sitting in some, mountains and doing meditation. The Vedic knowledge is for them. Even the Shankara, we see, anybody goes to the, Shankaracharya, I want to understand Vedic knowledge. First thing what he would say? First take sannyasa and then come, then we will talk. That was how strict he was. He would not teach the Vedic knowledge to anybody. Because he says, if you're a grahastha, you're a married man, you're caught up with so many things, this, that, responsibility, you won't be able to focus. You give up everything. You first take sannyasa, wear saffron cloth, give up everything, then I will teach you. Right? So generally it is understood as spiritual knowledge is for like a renounced people. But actually the origin, if you see, it was actually delivered to the royal order. In the next verse also Krishna says that evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. So he says, Krishna says that this knowledge was given to Rajarshi. It's a very unique word. You all know the word Raja. Raja means king, right? What is Rishi? Rishi means a saintly person. But a very interesting word Krishna is coining here, that Rajarshi. That means the kings were supposed to be as good as Rishi. And they were known as Rajarshis. Like Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was a Rajarshi. Even King Parikshit, he was a Rajarshi. Dhruva Maharaj, lot of kings. In the Vedic times, the kings were as good as saints. And they were given the saintly knowledge. Why? So that they can guide the whole society. The purpose of the king, the government is actually, here it is said, Prabhupada very nicely says, the science is especially meant for the protection of the inhabitants, and therefore the royal order should understand, in order to be able to rule the citizens and protect them. Rule the citizens and protect them from whom? Generally, we say Kshatriya, government, military department, protection from criminal elements, negative elements, right? Which is true. But here see the Vedic knowledge, what it says, is to protect them from the material bondage to lust. See, a bigger enemy. The bigger enemy than the criminal or the burglar is there in everyone's life. What is that? The bondage to lust. Again, bondage means what? Bound. We are bound to this material world. If you are bound, what will happen? Punarapi janmam, punarapi maranam. If you are bound, as we talked about the karma yoga, right? If you don't do as is offering to Krishna, you get sinful reactions. If you get sinful reaction, you'll have to take birth again, and you have to face the consequences of the sinful reactions. So the real primary protection that a Kshatriya is supposed to give is, yes, give elemental protection. Yes, there should be proper shelter, food, and proper government. There should be no crime. Everyone should be healthy. That is all good. But what is the purpose of all this? Just to live, eat, be merry and die? No. That is very lame thinking. The Vedic civilization is thinking very long term. See, just like if you get something, let's say you get a month's salary, how do you plan? Do you spend, let's say you got $5,000. Do you spend everything on day 1 and day 2? You go to a big 5-star hotel, do expensive things, and then rest of the 28 days remain homeless? We don't do that, right? We plan. We plan for the whole month, because next month is when I'll get the next salary. So the thinking is a forward thinking, future thinking. We take everything, complete picture, the complete time span, and we take care of ourselves. In the same way, the Vedic civilization is not just limiting to just this one life. Just like you get the salary, you just limit your thinking to just one day. Isn't it foolish thinking? What about tomorrow? How will you live? In the same way, the Vedic civilization is not just this life. It is thinks about eternity, beyond this life, multiple lives. That is why there is encouragement to do charity. It is said when you give charity, next life you will get 3 times in return. That is why somebody is born in a rich family, somebody is born in a poor family. Why is this happening? Rich family, he didn't have to work hard, right? Already so much bank balance is there. Father will give the property. How is that happening? Because the previous life he has done some charitable activity. That is why he's been rewarded. And those who are being born in a poor family, they have not done any charitable activity. They have lived like a miser. What will happen? You don't deserve money. You don't know how to utilize it. You're not forward thinking. Right? So in the same way, the purpose of Kshatriyas or the government is to help protect people from becoming bound to this material world, from the bondage of lust. And that is why this knowledge was given to Rajarshi, the kings and the kingly people. And Kshatriya is supposed to protect and make sure that everyone is able to progress in their life. Again, what is progress? There is material progress. Definitely, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, different categories of people. Materially, they should be well suited. But that is a secondary purpose. See, like all of us also, we earn some money. We want to make sure we're living comfortably. We have good food, good shelter, good vehicle, good transport. But this is all secondary purpose. It is to achieve the primary purpose of reviving our relationship with God and working towards that ultimate moksha. If we don't get that, if we don't achieve the primary purpose, we have actually lost the life examination. This life is like an examination. We have failed the examination. The primary purpose of life is not just live happily and die happily. The purpose of life is to mrutyunjaya. Like you heard the word mrutyunjaya, you have to win over this repeated birth and death. And that is what this Vedic civilization is all about, and that is what this knowledge is all about, and that is what the Kshatriyas were supposed to do, is to govern and make sure everyone is able to progress spiritually. Why Pandavas had to attack Duryodhana and re-establish religion? What is it? Duryodhana had a very big palace and all, but his character, he was a godless person. He was not, hesitating to commit any kind of sinful activity for his own personal satisfaction. So what does that mean? A godless person, can he guide the rest of the society to become, godly, to build their relationship with God? No, he cannot. So as a Kshatriya's business is to protect the citizens to become godly, to become connected to God. And that is what this Varnashrama system is, to actually ultimately build our relationship with Vishnu. Vishnu Aradhyate. It is said, the purpose of Varnashrama, the purpose of human life, the purpose of Vedic society is to build our relationship with Vishnu. And that is how these four categories, the Brahmanas are studying the Vedic literature and they're teaching the remaining categories of people, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, about God and how to live their life such that they're able to make progress. Because a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, they're busy doing their duties. They don't have time to read complete Bhagavad Gita and, figure out. So the Brahmana will give them advice. Oh, very simple. You chant Hare Krishna, or, you eat prasadam, or you do this yagna, or you do this puja. Now, if you want more detail, he can explain. Just like a doctor, you go to the doctor, you have a problem, he will give medicine, take this medicine. You take the medicine, you're good, you're healed. But if you want to understand, no, I want to understand how this medicine works, what is my problem, then he will open his big chart, this is the body, this is the intestine, these are the kind of bacteria, this is what the medicine does, it goes and attacks these kind of cells, and this is how your, this thing is solved, right? The complete detailed information is there with the doctor, but not every person need to know everything, isn't it? But there has to be some doctors. Everybody can't, the moment you get stomach pain, now you can't go to the library and start reading about anatomy of the body and figure out, right? It will take, by the time you read your medicine book, your stomach pain and you might end actually, right? So that is how the Vedic civilization is designed, such that, the Vedic knowledge is utilized by every category, every person in every section of the society to advance spiritually, to cultivate the devotion to the Lord, to revive the lost relationship. That is what it is called as yoga. And the Kshatriya, his duty is to make sure everyone is acting as per their capacity. The Brahmana has to be a true Brahmana where he is actually studying the Vedic literature and spreading this knowledge. A Kshatriya has to protect the people so that they're able to perform spiritual activities. A Vaishya also has to perform spiritual activity. A Shudra also has to perform spiritual activity. Everybody, no matter what they are, has to perform spiritual activities and connect and build their relationship to Krishna. So, and there is more, as we go in the 4th chapter, Krishna reveals more and more revealing. And so I'll stop here and we're distributing beads. So we'll all chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra. So while the beads are being distributed, if anybody has any question, we can discuss anything related to what we talked about today. So all, philosophy is one thing. Again, this is like the doctor, the medicine. Doctor can give as much explanation, the Vedic knowledge as all explanations. But the essence, is to be able to connect to Krishna. And what we're doing is, this chanting Hare Krishna mantra is the simplest and easiest way to connect to Krishna. That is the actually essence of all the Vedic literature also. Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyaha. To build your relationship, to understand me and to connect to me is the purpose of all the Vedas. Actually, Swami Prabhupada also, last week we had put here, Prabhupada had come to the West. He had traveled from India. He had opened 108 temples. There are thousands of disciples. He has written like 80 books, on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ishopanishad, so many books. So once he was asking his disciples, why do you think I wrote all these books? So disciples were giving different reasons. To understand Krishna, to understand God. Prabhupada says, yes, but there is one main reason. They were saying, to build our relation, to attain mukti, all that. He says, everything is fine, but there is one essential reason. What is it? Then they were all not sure. He said, it's a very simple thing. To convince you all people to chant Hare Krishna. This is the purpose. The purpose of the whole Vedic knowledge, the literature, everything is to convince us to chant Hare Krishna. Because once we chant Hare Krishna, we are connecting with Krishna. So you have come to the final conclusion, right? The final takeaway. Like they say, final takeaway. Okay, what is it? One action item that I need to do to get benefit of all this knowledge is this chanting Hare Krishna. By this, we will connect to Krishna. Lord will reveal himself to us. Our heart will become cleansed. Our mind will become cleansed. We'll become peaceful. We'll become pacified. We will start understanding everything that's happening around us. We'll start understanding God. And we will actually ultimately, it is said, Kirtana Deva Krishnasya, Kirtana of Krishna, we are chanting. What will happen? Mukta Sangha Param Vrajat. You will attain mukti ultimately. Right? So that's why we always do this chanting. So please repeat after me. We will chant the Guru Pranam mantra and the Panchatattva mantra. And then we'll all chant the Hare Krishna mantra together. So please repeat after me. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we'll all chant the Hare Krishna mantra together. I'll just remind. The important thing is to pronounce clearly and chant in a prayerful mood, because this chanting of mantra is actually prayer to the Lord to help us, to engage us in His service and to revive our lost relationship. Right? So we should chant clearly and pronounce clearly, hear clearly, and in a prayerful mood. So let's all do it together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare